The Mets are back down to 500, 27-27 on the season after dropping 4 games on a 6-game road trip. So let's talk some Mets baseball with the host of the Subway to Shea podcast. That would be Anthony Rivera. Anthony, I hope you are doing better than the Mets have been doing. It's roller coaster ride of the season with the Mets. Hopefully that's not the case for you. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. The Mets, on the other hand, like you said, it's just a roller coaster ride all throughout the season. So trying to take this next day off for myself and hopefully for the Mets to get themselves back to going very well.
Hopefully they do that. They got a day off before they return to New York to start a 3-game series with the Phillies. We'll get to that later. But Anthony, the Mets scored 22 runs in their 3-game weekend series against the Rockies, but they lost 2 out of 3 games as they surrendered 23 runs in that series. You have to take the pitching at Coors Field with a grain of salt, but where is your concern level with the Mets starting pitching after this series in Colorado?
I am very concerned. I mean, what we got from Verlander yesterday was unfortunate. Could only muster 5-6 innings, and we need more. We need more from our starting pitching. Tyler McGill gave the Mets nothing today after they gave him a 6-2 lead. He gave that right back immediately, and it was just a struggle for the pitching staff all weekend long. We know how it is in Colorado. It's always a struggle in Colorado. But, this issue has been lingering the entire season. And, thankfully we have Verlander back, Scherzer back, and Carrasco back. But we're going to need these pitchers to pitch at least 6-7 innings so that we're not constantly seeing, Leon in there and Nogosek in there all the time and Brigham in there all the time. Otherwise, this Mets team is going to have a really tough time getting to just the trade deadline.
Yeah, you worry about the bullpen getting taxes. You mentioned there when the starters aren't giving you the requisite length that you'd like to see out of the Mets starters at the start of these games. But the Mets, they've brought up 3 of their 4 heralded offensive prospects to the major leagues this season. But Ronnie Mauricio continues to swing the bat well at AAA Syracuse, and he's adjusting to playing at second base. Do you think it's time to bring up Mauricio to the big leagues?
It's tough for me to say no and then hear it from all the Met fans, whether on social media or what, because everyone wants to see Ronnie Mauricio. But like you said, you look at this offense and they've been pretty good with Francisco Alvarez and playing Brett Beatty every day. And, Mark Vientos getting in the whole weekend to play as well. And he got a couple of hits this weekend. It would be nice to get Ronnie Mauricio up. I don't think it's necessary at this time. Let him continue to get better at second base, and maybe with that we can see McNeil shift over to left field at some point to give rest, because we know Canna hasn't been cutting it. We got a good performance from Tommy Pham, but that doesn't happen every day, and you're going to need guys like Brandon Nimmo to get rest, obviously Starling Marte to get rest. So at some point we will see Ronnie Mauricio up this season. I think the bigger issue is the pitching, and they need pitching help.
Yeah, pitching seems to be the bigger issue for the Metropolitans right now. Let's look at this week. 6-game homestand for the Metropolitans starting on Tuesday, hosting the Phillies for 3 games. Then the Blue Jays come to Citi Field for a 3-game set. What are you looking to see the Mets accomplish this week after a disappointing road trip?
Well, we obviously want to see the starting pitchers go 5-6 innings, maybe even 7 innings, give the bullpen some rest and start winning series. That's what made the Mets so good last season is, they didn't always sweep teams, but they were always winning every series, and they haven't done that this season, and that's why they're just at 500. So if the Mets can take this series from the Phillies, which is very important because I think the Phillies are 2 games behind them in the standings, if they can take the Phillies series, work on that, and then head into the Blue Jays series and take 2 out of 3, that's what's going to be most important. Moving on from the rest of the season on, win series.
Got to get back to winning series. Stringing some wins together is what Mets fans would like to see them do. They're 27-27 right now at Memorial Day. Usually a good time, Anthony, to evaluate the team. And the Mets right now have just been mediocre. We'll see how it goes for them going further. That is Anthony Rivera, the host of the Subway to Shea podcast. Go check that out. Anthony, always good to connect with you and talk some Mets baseball. Thank you, man.
I appreciate you, Dexter. Thank you.